Manitowoc County motorcycle crash leaves 3 hospitalized. Widener Center to produce Green Bay's second annual TEDx event. Packers face AFC opponents in preseason. These and other local stories are coming up on this edition of Community News Review.
This is Community News Review, a service of WSCS TV, news content provided by WHBL.
I'm Maddie Pfister, and this is Community News Review for Wednesday, April 10th, 2019. Police say alcohol and speed may have been factors in a weekend motorcycle crash in Manitowoc County that left 3 people hospitalized. 2 of the injured were thrown from their bikes and had life-threatening injuries. Wisconsin State Patrol says that the crash happened around 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon on Old Y Road, which is between Mishicot and Denmark. State troopers say 58-year-old Luxembourg man began to slow down when he was hit by another motorcycle, driven by a 67-year-old Kewaukee man. Both motorcyclists lost control and were thrown from their bikes, along with a 48-year-old Kewaunee woman who was riding on the second motorcycle. None of the 3 were wearing their helmets. If you have fallen behind on your utility payments, you may want to contact your power company to arrange a payment plan. In Wisconsin, utility service may be disconnected on or after April 16th if energy bills have not been paid. For health and safety reasons, rules prohibit power companies from disconnecting customers between November 1st and April 15th for non-payment of utility bills. If you contacted your utility company but cannot reach a payment agreement, you can call the Public Service Commission Consumer Affairs toll-free at 1-800-225-7729. The Widener Center is proud to host the second annual TEDx UW Green Bay, organized by faculty from the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. After last year's overwhelming response to TEDx UW Green Bay, we are excited to announce that the application and nomination process is now open, said Kelly Strickland, Executive and Artistic Director of the Widener Center. In 2018, we had hundreds of submissions for speakers, and the event itself was sold out, so our hope is to build upon that success. The TEDx videos from last year's event now have more than 100,000 views, and it is a very powerful platform. Speaker nominations and applications are being accepted until April 30th, 2019 at 5 p.m. Organizers seek the boldest and most impactful ideas being generated in this community. This event will take place on October 24th, 2019. To apply or nominate a speaker, visit www.tedxuwgreenbay.com. The people who want to stop teens from smoking in Wisconsin say that they are going to have to change because of a new law in Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed a law Sunday that raises the age to buy cigarettes and vape products to 21. It takes effect on July 1st. Youth to Youth for Change Director Debbie Fisher says anti-smoking groups like hers will now focus their efforts in Wisconsin towns along the border to try and stop teens from Illinois who cross the state lines to buy their smokes. She says despite the high taxes on cigarettes and the health costs that the state must cover through Medicare and Medicaid are higher. The state received $790 million in tobacco settlement money in 2018, and the healthcare costs associated with our smoking in Wisconsin are estimated at $2.6 billion. The only anti-tobacco bill that is pending in the Wisconsin legislature is the current session would require stores that sell cigarettes to keep them in lock cases behind the counter. The state is officially out of a federal lawsuit targeted at healthcare. As of Tuesday afternoon, the state of Wisconsin is no longer part of the Texas versus United States lawsuit that is looking to make significant changes to the Affordable Care Act. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals granted the request for Attorney General Josh Kaul to remove the state from the lawsuit. The state was withdrawn from the case by a federal judge in Texas last week, but the removal was not official until the ruling from the Court of Appeals this afternoon. In a joint release on Governor Tony Evers, he said, "Today I am proud to say that the promise has been fulfilled. It is time for Republicans to stop blocking the will of the people and work with us to expand health care." AG Kaul added, "If the challenge to the constitutionality of the Affordable Care Act is successful, people with a pre-existing condition will lose critical protections. Health insurance coverage will be imperiled for millions of Americans, and the healthcare insurance market will be destabilized, and our efforts to address the opioid epidemic will be undermined." The state of Wisconsin will no longer be using tax dollars to support this lawsuit, which is contrary to the interests of the Wisconsinites. Republican legislative leaders in the state who opposed withdrawing from the lawsuit have not responded to the ruling at this time. And finally, the Green Bay Packers will open the preseason at home for the third straight year. The preseason will start with the Houston Texans. Leading the game into the game, the Packers will host the Texans for joint practices in Green Bay. Days and times will be announced at a later date, and it is the first time the Packers will play against the Texans in the preseason. The Packers will also play the Kansas City Chiefs at home in the final preseason game. It is the second consecutive year for the Packers play the Chiefs in the preseason finale and the 8th time since 2010. Other opponents including road games against the Baltimore Ravens and the Oakland Raiders. The location for the game against the Raiders is yet to be determined, but will be a preview to an upcoming regular season game between the two teams. The season marks only the second preseason meeting between the Packers and the Ravens. The NFL regular season schedule is expected to be announced before the end of this month. And that is our report for today. Join me again on Friday for more local news and information on Community News Review.
News content for this program provided by WHBL in cooperation with WSCS TV.